Hi, my name is Corey Gilmore, and this is Beta-2 of the podcast Adaptive Technology Today. And I promise that by next week there will be a better set behind me. We're going to do these in a much better location. And yes, I look a little disheveled. I'll explain why later. Um, but today's podcast had to be a little quick because of the topic that we're going to be discussing, which is Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, or WWDC. Now, as you'll remember from last week, if you were kind enough to watch last week, um, this show is about assistive technology. So what could Apple be releasing that will make a difference for people with disabilities? Well, let's talk about that. For one thing, I have my iPhone here, and I want to introduce you to a friend of mine that helps me do things. Hello, Siri.
Hi.
How are you?
I am well.
That's awesome.
Glad to be of help.
Okay, so obviously I use Siri on both my iPhone and iPad. Now, my Siri is very well trained. Uh, I have made corrections every time it makes mistakes. And if you do that in the correct way, and there are books on this, and a good one to read is if you go in the iBook store and simply look for a book entitled Siri, you will find a good handbook on the correct way to use Siri and how to improve over time and all that stuff. So we're not going to go over all that. But Siri helps me get things done. I have difficulty writing, so Siri composes my emails and text messages and all that stuff. Now, a lot of people without disabilities think that's kind of a gimmick. But for people like us, Siri and technologies like it are an absolute necessity. Sorry, excuse me. Um, and so I do expect big changes to Siri in iOS 8. That's right. We're on the iPhone operating system 7.1.2 or 7.1.1 right now. And we are expecting to hear something about iOS 8. Now, the big thing that the mainstream press is hyped up on with iOS 8 is this thing called Health Book. Let me tell you, I am so sick of hearing about Health Book. I'm sure it will be wonderful and it'll keep track of all our calories and what we eat and how far we run, if we can run. But I'm expecting big things in iOS 8. There will be new Siri capabilities. I don't know what they are yet, and I'm gonna warn you right now, chances are good I will be testing these products. And when I am testing these products, the only thing I can comment on publicly is things that are already known publicly. So if they announce new Siri capabilities in iOS 8, I can talk about it. Um, Beyond that, I can't, because beyond what is known publicly, I won't be able to make comment until these things are released, because I'll be under non-disclosure agreements. Um, but one other thing I expect to see, we're gonna get a new version of OS 10, and this is confusing. Apple's operating system is called OS 10, and we are looking at the 10th release of OS 10. So it's OS 10 10.10, which is stupid. Go to 11! Go to 11 already! But there's been a long rumor that Apple is trying to put Siri into OS 10. Now, that, if it works, if they do it, and if it works the way we'd like it to work, that will open up a huge area of independence for people with disabilities, and I am looking forward to that day. And I don't know if it will be in 10.10 or in OS 11 whenever that comes out, whenever they decide to get us off 10. Please, Apple, 11 channel Spinal Tap, and just turn it up to 11. Yes, thank you. So I expect that at some point, this series, and that will, um, you know, really change everything. And that's what I look for from Apple. It's not, ooh, they have a new MacBook out, or they have a new Mac Pro out. Those things are nice, but I look for, like one of the things you can do with Siri now, and I won't do it right now, but one of the things that you can do is get Siri to read your email for you. So you can say, read my email, and it will give you a caption of the latest emails and a couple lines so that you can know what the emails are about. So you can reply very quickly and get things done. Can you imagine that on the Mac? You know, um, there's been a lot of talk about an iWatch, and maybe there's an iWatch. I don't know. Um, if there is an iWatch, one of the things I would like it to be able to do is just simply tell me the time in a way that's not visual. Like, for example, what time is it?
It's 5:36 p.m.
Okay, where I am, it's 5:36 p.m. And because Siri can tell me the time, I don't need to visually strain my eyes, which don't work the way they should, and try to read a clock face. I can just get a simple response, like, what's on my schedule for today?
You don't have any appointments on your calendar for today.
See? So I don't have to look at my calendar. I can just ask Siri, and she can tell me what's on my calendar. And improvements to that. Verbally listing, what's on the calendar. And not just saying, well, here are all your appointments. Yeah, thanks. I need to hear that, Siri. Thank you very much. You know, um, And so I'm excited about WWDC. There's usually something that I didn't think of, and I don't expect this will be any different. Um, there's going to be something I didn't think of that Apple will announce that won't be available for months. Whatever they announce, uh, one thing they're talking about is home automation through the iPhone and the iPad. So maybe that will happen. And if it does, oh boy, giving users like myself who can't move as well control over the environment through speech and through Siri and stuff like that just blows the doors off of independence. Like it just opens up a whole new world, just like Siri, and so those are things that get me excited. And yes, over the coming weeks, I will have uh, video and still images of the things that I'm talking about, provided they're publicly known and publicly available. Um, but in the meantime, this is what I think is happening at WWDC, and I'm so excited to find out. Every time they update Siri, things improve for me. It means I can do more on my own. And every time somebody like Google announces, we have self-driving cars and we're testing this new car. Great. I want to know about that because someday that means I can get my own butt to the store and I don't have to depend on my staff to bring me. That's what adaptive technology is about. Not uh you know, oh gee, we have a new way to read Braille. That's great. Those are things you think of all the time. But Siri and Google Now and Cortana are really uh, futuristic things that are improving things now. And as I get to test these things, you're going to hear about them. So on Monday at 10 a.m., look, go to apple.com and look at the video stream. Failing that, tune in to Twit. That's TWIT with Leo Laporte and friends, and there will be coverage there. And then after the announcement, I will come and I will do a podcast and I will update the blog with everything that I thought was going to happen, and then we'll talk about everything that happened. Because there are big changes coming, and once a year, we get excited and see what people are coming up with. And I'm telling you, pay close attention to this stuff because the world is changing. And finally, there's technology to remove some of these barriers that, I've had to deal with for years. And I know I'm not the only one. So, anyway, feel free to leave comments. I'll leave them open this time. Please subscribe. I know this is rough, but it'll get better. I promise. I'm committed to the podcast. I'm committed to the blog. It'll get better. Just bear with me. And, um, please be aware I also am open to different platforms. So I will be testing that stuff. As soon as I can get my hands on a Windows phone, I'm testing it. I'm testing, I want to test Google Chrome, the operating system, and see what that's like for people with disabilities. So, there's more coming. I'm not just an Apple fanboy. I love my Apple stuff, but I know there's more in the world. So, is coming. But in the meantime, enjoy WWDC and good night, Leo Laporte, wherever you are.